Welcome to My Hometown, the program that explores clubs, organizations, businesses, and issues across Nassau and Suffolk counties and sheds light on the different towns that are making a difference.
Hello and welcome to My Hometown. I'm Bill Horan, along with my co-host, Nassau Community College student, Mike DeMarco.
Today, you're about to learn about a free youth basketball clinic called the Five Towns Legends, which meets in Inwood here in Nassau County.
Our guests today are Krystal Mackey, the organizer of the Five Towns Legends, and Michael Gajadhar, one of the coaches. Krystal and Michael, welcome to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Now, tell us a little bit about yourself, and are you both lifetime Long Islanders, parents, etc.?
Okay, so I grew up in Long Island. I grew up in Cedarhurst, the Five-Town area. Yeah, I grew up most of my life here on the island.
I'm from Queens originally. I met Krystal a couple of years ago, and now I'm in Long Island. Been here for about 18 years.
Oh, wow.
And there's a personal story going on that we should know about. So do you want to fill us in?
Oh, yeah. So we're partners. We've been together for a good 20 years. We have a family together, 4 kids. Yeah, we have a lot going on now.
So you're making your own basketball team in the meantime.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good way to do it.
We have our own lineup going on.
You got to go. Just need one more. We know how many they're going to stop at. Okay, that sounds good. Mike?
So what does the name mean? Where did you come up with Legends specifically?
We was being around the bush. You know, it took us about 3 days to come up with a name. And we just came up with that name. We said, that's perfect. Bottom line.
And we just put the 5 towns together because I'm from the area. And I mean, it just sounds good together. And I mean, we want our kids to be legends one day. So
speaks for what it is.
Not?
Yeah.
You got to set your goals early. You want a legend, you got to start them quickly. There you go.
Why
Perfect.
Not?
Now, tell us a little bit about your own sports background, if any. Was it in physical playing or administration or coaching?
I used to box. I played high school basketball. I was always my coach on my basketball team always told me I was a better coach than a player.
That's a nice way of putting things. He's a politician.
Yeah, he always called me a coach player. I'll be on the sidelines coaching while he's coaching. He'll tell me sit down all the time. And I just went with it. And I realized, I have a gift.
Honestly, that's a nice compliment. I mean, at the time, you don't want to hear it because it's kind of saying, sit down on the bench. But it means also you're cerebral, you're thinking, you know what's going on the court. And I think most of us just take the ball and shoot or hit the ball or whatever the game is. And you're the thinker. And obviously, you went on to coaching. So the coach knew what he was talking about, I guess.
Yeah, she played high school basketball herself.
Yeah, I play basketball. I play it with my kids. I just love the game, and I just thought, hey, why not coach? A lot better coaching. You get more active role. Playing with the kids, involvement. So I mean, why not?
I think it's so good for kids. And again, you don't have to, when I say you, meaning the players you coach, they don't have to go on to be anybody we ever know. But the experience, whether it's just grades 1 to 4 or through high school or junior high school, it's a great experience. At the time, the first grader, the 7th grader, we all feel we're going to make that big time. We're going to be the best player ever, the next Michael Jordan, LeBron James, whoever. And what a great feeling. You're part of a team. You're learning teamwork. You're learning working with people. Obviously, you're getting athletic skills. So I think there's so much about sports that people just look at, did my team finish first? Did my son or daughter's team win the championship? But that's not what it's about. To a good coach, you're teaching skills and probably more important, life skills.
Yes, very true. Definitely.
So who's able to be involved? Are there different, what's the age range, or are there different team divisions that take place in the Five Towns Legends?
Okay, so we do have different age groups. We started with, 3rd to about 5th grade. We grouped them together. So that is 8 to about 11.
Yeah, I think so.
And then we have an older group.
Yes,
so
6th to 8th graders.
Yeah, so we do 6th to 8th graders, and we group them together. It's a good thing. It works. Sometimes we have the groups play together and all. it's just to build their experience with each other, because the little kids don't really know as much as the big kids. So sometimes we put them together and they play off well together. You know, they learn from each other.
Yeah, sometimes the older kids could show the younger kids a few things or two.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll mix them up sometimes in the game. We'll just for fun of it. And the older kids will direct the little kids, and the little kids they'll love it. You know, go down there, set a pick, show me this, come back over here. The kids listen to the older kids also, so it's really great.
Yeah, like the little kids want more direction, more, you know, it's more telling them what to do. They like it. You know, most kids love you telling them, giving them direction, and they follow through with it. That's amazing. And
one of the best things I got to say offhand is nothing like seeing a 8-year-old make their first shot. when everybody in there, any 8-year-old, 9-year-old, when they make their first shot, the gym goes crazy. And it's like they won an NBA championship, even though they're down 20 points.
And you know what? Isn't that wonderful? That doesn't matter to them. It doesn't have to be. It could be the last place game for the last place league, but they made the first shot, and that beaming look on the child's face.
When they run after the end of the game to their parents and say, "Mom, did you see that shot?" It really makes us satisfied what we're doing here.
And I think you have, and Mike, I'm sorry to interrupt your questions, but you really have the right goals and right ideas, because these are life lessons, and this is bringing together the parents. And like you said, that beaming look, they've accomplished something. They worked for it, as you said, through the coaching and taking instructions. And then whether they make one shot or if that's one of 500 for the year, doesn't matter if they're the high scorer or the last points of the game or the last points in a losing game. They've accomplished something, and it feels great.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Mike.
And now, no, it's okay. And do you have to be, to join, do you have to be a part, like living in the 5 towns, or do you accept people from outside the 5 towns?
No, so we do accept people from wherever you are. We accept you. It doesn't matter where you live, your area.
We had parents driving from different boroughs bringing their kids when they heard about the program. Yeah, driving, calling me, "Hey, we're 10 minutes late." I'm like, "It's okay, no problem."
Yeah, we have kids from Rosedale, Valley Stream, Far Rockaway that come out. So yeah, we will accept anyone from any area.
Folks, just tell us a little bit, and because I don't think people appreciate what good people like yourself, Little League coaches, any of the coaches, administrators, even this, what would you call them, the scorekeepers, the timekeepers, etc., how much time they give. The other day I was out walking my dog and I see a man with a little machine putting lines on the soccer field. And this was like 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning when I'm sure every other parent was sleeping or should be sleeping except me and my dog. And, somebody is out there has to do the dirty work. They have to get the gym ready, perhaps sweep it up, put the lights on, make sure the insurance is paid in case there's an accident or something happens. What are some of the things that you found you have to do as the organizer and coach of a league?
Always being early.
That's a good motto. Always
being an hour early to set up the gym, because sometimes if I'm running late from work or something like that, she's running late from work, man, there's kids at the door waiting for us. It's a hassle. So we have to be there an hour early, get the cone set up, get the balls ready, get the custodian down to sweep and everything. It is a hassle, but you just got to be early and be on time.
I was just going to say, Mike, I'm sure kind of one of your rules is expect the unexpected, whether it's everything is perfect, but there's no balls, or the lights don't go on, or the door isn't open.
We had a situation like that. We had one of our big games, and the custodian locked the balls in the closet, and I had to run around the whole school for about 20 minutes to find him.
And he was probably taking a nap or having a cup of coffee, and okay, yes, we don't talk about that, but that is the real world. No, maybe he was working the night shift and it was hard, but that's the real world. He's the most important man in the world when you need those balls.
We thank Byron for everything he does.
Well, before we continue, I just want to add that you are listening to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Mike DeMarco, along with Bill Horan, and today you are learning about a free youth basketball clinic called the Five Towns Legends, which meets in Inwood here in Nassau County. Our guests today are Krystal Mackey, the organizer of the Five Towns Legends, and Michael Gajadhar, one of their coaches. So I know you mentioned one of the positive outcomes of the children when they start this program, making that first shot and the satisfaction. But what are some of the other long-term sort of effects that the kids like walking in and then out of the program? Like, how do they advance themselves?
Coming in the program, a lot of these kids came in not learning ever how to play basketball, had no skills. These kids, in our area, we don't have a lot of things going on outside curricular activities. So when these kids are going to middle school or high school, when they're trying out for their basketball teams, football teams, baseball teams, they have no training. It's
like they're first starting. So it's like they don't have the outside experience when they are like other neighborhoods do, other neighborhoods provide. So our area is lacking the outside sports programs that would help the school better the kids. But as soon as they get to middle school, they're really just starting out, basically.
Yeah, after COVID, we've seen a lot of kids, they didn't have sports for about a year and a half out here. After COVID, they pushed them right into sports, and a lot of these kids went on a basketball team not knowing nothing. The high school team around our way, they lost every single game in the season. And we went to the games. We have a son that actually plays for the team, and we went to all the games, and we was watching. It wasn't the coach's fault that these kids didn't have enough practice. So they come to our program now. Now they're getting the outside practice they need. So when they step on court for training or to be scouted or to try to make a team, at least they have more confidence going into that.
Yeah, they're basically inexperienced. So it's just, it's no programs out here that provide anything for sports. So it's just finding, putting something together for the kids and helping them through the middle school or through high school, or, not continuing to lose each game, because what kid wants to continue lose, all the time? It lowers their self-esteem a little bit, and then they start quitting the teams, or, we don't want that. We want to change the outcome a little bit.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of that during the middle school basketball games. A lot of kids just quit because they just said they was on the bench, or they just say, I'm not having fun. I don't know what I'm doing. And that discourages us.
And it's so great when you started early. Now, Michael and Krystal, was it hard to start this program? Because at least when I see startup things today, meaning activities in a town, whether it's a foundation or trying to help raise money for activities at the school, etc., there are so many elements we as, the community really just don't even think of. Could you tell us some of the things you had to address and take care of?
Well, going to a lot of sports games, we get all the parents around us seeing the kids losing. They're saying, we need to do something. We need to do something. We need to do something. When we finally got a situation where we could do something, no one showed up except for me and Krystal. And I can say about 2 other people showed up to give us a hand. And I want to shout out Coach Shivers real fast. He gave us a big hand. A real great guy. And it just sucks sometimes, you go to the board meetings and everyone's raising their hand. They want to do this, they want to do that. But when we finally got the facility to do something, no one showed up. So me and my wife was coaching, training, reffing. But little by little, we got one person to help out, then another person to help out. And thankfully, Krystal's a teacher in the schools. She was able to recruit a lot of the high school students to come help us out also.
Yeah, so I'm a teacher's assistant and I work at a high school. So to get help, listen, that was a big problem. The help was, I didn't think it was that hard finding help, but you'll be surprised. It's very hard.
Nobody wants to work for free.
It's very hard to find help. So I had to ask high school students and some college students that came out and, they help out so wonderfully and it works out. So we have the help from these younger students and it's great. That's what I learned from there. But it's always something. It's still hard doing this program every day. It's always something. If something doesn't fall through, you gotta run around and make it work somehow. If a rep doesn't show up, we have to find another rep. It's a lot. It's a lot to but we
there
love
was
doing
times
this.
we had to ask the kids to coach because I couldn't coach. I had a ref because the ref didn't show up.
Oh, wow.
I'm just thinking, in a sense, there should be another word for it, but like a coachpreneur or like an entrepreneur in coaching. Seriously, because like what you said, what do you do if the ref doesn't show up? You got 20 parents there, the kids are there, and the ref doesn't show up. What do you do if the lights aren't on or the balls are locked in the closet? I mean, do you go to a neighbor and say, you got a basketball in the garage? Can I borrow it for the game? And I mean, while these things sound silly, I'm sure for every group, they've come through. And we didn't even mention yet, and I was just actually talking to a college coach recently, and listening to him, I learned more about law than talking to a lawyer. He had to know so many different laws, when he can recruit, what he is allowed to do here, what you can and cannot do in this section. And these weren't for bad events. This was just for his daily, everyday activities, who he can talk to, what group is allowed to do this, what you're not allowed to say, to promise, to offer, et cetera, et cetera. So that must be another whole field to ensure the location and to provide some type of medical provisions that if somebody does get hurt, they can get immediate access either to an ambulance or even if it's just a Band-Aid, that might be the most important at the time.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of red tapes everywhere. You just got to constantly research everything, what you can't do, what you can do. It's still a learning process for us. We're still learning. We're still growing, and we still play different roles, so if ref doesn't show up, like he said, he'll jump in and have one of the kids coach, and I'll do the scoreboard. Or it's a lot. It's like jumping into a role every day. It's sometimes a little different, feels a little different, but if it works, why not let it? So
no, it's a great experience,
right?
Yeah, and great dedication on your part, and both of you, and the coaches who help you, the officials, and anybody who takes part in this, what they're doing for the kids. And I don't think a lot of the parents even appreciate or even think about this unless they're in the situation that we're in.
And how is the parent participation? Did you find that maybe as the ball started to get rolling a little bit more, that more people started to get involved with helping out with the program?
Okay, so that part is that's a little tricky. Yeah, good question at that. Well, parent participation, we would like to have more come, but we understand like parents work. We both are working parents. They have other priorities, but it's just a little. We just want a little bit more.
A lot of the parents that come that bring their kids there, they're either single parents or they're working two jobs. So I don't knock them for that. They can't help us out and everything. I know they tell us all the time it's a blessing because it's instead of their kid being home all day playing video games, to drop them here and for them to have some kind of activity, they tell me all the time, thank you. So we know it's hard on parents sometimes, but we do wish we could have a little bit more help. But we know we understand sometimes. We're parents ourselves, so we understand.
You take the help while you can get it. So
yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, before we continue, I just want to add once again that you are listening to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Mike DeMarco, along with Bill Horan, and today you are learning about a free youth basketball clinic called the Five Towns Legends, which meets in Inwood here in Nassau County. Our guests today are Krystal Mackey, the organizer of the Five Towns Legends, and Michael Gajadhar, one of their coaches. Bill?
Folks, one of the questions that we ask, it's almost like a staple every week. How did the COVID situation affect your clinics and your coaching?
Oh, we were shut down. We couldn't do nothing. They gave us the red tape. They said, listen, until it gets lifted, we can't do nothing. And it destroyed these kids. I'm telling you, these kids were, I don't want to use the word, they were just stuck. Playing video games, sitting in the house all day. There was
including our kid. They got lazy. You got lazy. You sit in the house, and I mean, as an adult, we all probably got a little lazy. I mean, we're sitting in the house for a good maybe 2 years. It was a lot to process. So for younger kids like this, that's a lot. That's a lot to go through. Yeah, and taking your sports away, that's a big thing. So 7th grade, the kids that was in 7th grade, they couldn't even start sports. So they missed that first year and they started 8th grade. But it wasn't 100% back because of COVID.
I know the schools had to comply with the laws, so I'm not blaming individuals. But I know in my school, I would pass by and I would see tape around the playground fences. And I'm thinking, what? You're telling the students they can't go to school. What do you think kids, they've got all this energy. They want to go out. And even if they're just shooting or doing, making up their own games or tag or monkey in the middle, whatever games the kids play. And I remember once the security people removing them from a huge football field that was open, saying you can't play there, you got to get off the field. And again, they're just doing what they're told. I'm sure the administration had to say, you can't use the fields during this time. But what is a high school kid going to do? They're going to go break a window or hang out on the corner someplace, where here they were actually playing football or soccer on this huge field. They weren't anywhere close to each other. And when you stop and think of it, you said, wait, are we really doing something productive by chasing them off here? Maybe look the other way, let them play, because they're doing more good than harm.
And that's a good point that you just brought up, like breaking windows. You don't want the kids to get in trouble. Then it's that trouble aspect. It's the kids getting into trouble that they don't need to be getting into. So you're just taking something positive away from them. I mean,
yeah,
it was a good listen, it was COVID. I mean, we had to follow all the laws and everything. But, it's just that trouble aspect. You don't want the kids to, go down that bad road or get into trouble or crime or, stuff like that. So we just...
Towards the end of COVID, we still had parents calling us, are you opening up? I said, not yet till we get the okay. So I had parents call me, can you come to my house and just train them? So I would come to the house, mask, gloves, the ball in a plastic bag. That's how we was training. And I would tell them just one kid at a time. I just have one kid out, and I would still be the 6 feet rule. I'll be over here, he'd be over here. I'll just show him what to do. I have my own basketball. This is what you do. This is what we do. Because we were still trying to just keep these kids going. You know what I'm saying? You'll
have great stories for 50 years from now, your grandchildren and great-grandchildren, to talk about the COVID years. So you can tell them how you coached basketball during that era.
You find a plastic bag, I'm the reason.
And speaking of stories, are there any specific success stories with the kids that you can name off the top of your head? I mean, I know we've talked about all the positive effects, there's no doubt. But anything specific for any or a specific kid?
I got a great one. Jeremiah.
Yeah.
This kid came in the program almost 300 pounds. This kid didn't know how to play basketball. He couldn't run down the court. He couldn't do nothing, but he wanted to be there. Within a year, this kid slimmed down to about 220.
Wow.
This kid is running. He's running faster than the smallest kids there. He loves it. One thing about this kid, his mom comes to every single. I can say out of all the kids, his mom comes to every single game in tears. Even if he doesn't score, she's just happy and running up and down the court. She gives Krystal a big hug every game, shakes my hand, asks me, do we need anything? Are you guys hungry? I was like, no, we're okay.
And he's a wonderful kid. He shows up on time. He's always there. He's consistent. He's always willing to help. And then we have a kid named Junior also. He is, I want to say 6'1", maybe 6'2".
Junior is 6'3", never played a game of basketball in his life.
Never played basketball in his life. Didn't know how to make a layup or even jump. Like, to be 6'2", and, you just can't jump.
When the kids used to pick the players, they'll pick him first, and then during the game, they'll be like, oh, why did I pick him? So we trained this kid, man. Now he's such a great center now.
He never gave up. He's always wanting to learn, consistent. It's just these kids are wonderful kids, man. It's just, I just want to cry when I talk about them, because they're just great kids. They're really amazing kids.
They're amazing kids, but it took two amazing coaches. That's the people we're talking to today, Michael and Krystal, to bring this out of them. And how that must feel to you that we all want to make a difference in some respect, and that you made such a difference in their lives. Tell us, both of you, what can our audience do to keep this program going? Is there some either simple things or advanced? Is there a way to help out that you could use?
We could use more participation. People going around just spreading the word about the program.
Basically, the word of mouth out there. Bringing your kids down, signing them up. It's just simple things like that.
Where we get the gym from, the organizer, the main organizer, he comes in and he hears us. He goes back to Krystal and says, "Hey, I'm hearing about your program. I hear you're getting more kids, and more kids, and more kids. Keep it up, keep it up." He said, he's telling us there's no restrictions for us because the neighborhood's getting better. He said he's seeing in the high school, the middle school, the kids are playing better.
And to his credit and that person's credit, and I'm sure there's some unnamed ones along the way, just recognizing that you're helping the neighborhood, you're helping the kids. Sometimes we get too tied up with, the insurance regulations. We have to obey the law. That's certainly true. But if you can do some of these things and make it accessible to kids and just put it out there, and they have wonderful people like yourselves willing to coach and teach them from experience.
Thank you.
Can you tell our audience, if they're hearing this and they're interested, how do they get in touch? Is there a website, phone number, location that they should go to?
Well, I have an Instagram. I have a Yahoo account, five Towns Legends at yahoo.com.
Is that spelled out, FIVE, or the number 5?
So it's spelled out 5. So FIVE, and then Towns with the S at the end, and then Legends with the S also. So, and that's at Yahoo.
No, it's spelled like that.
No. Yeah. And that's at yahoo.com. And you can reach me at my number for the organization. It's 516-787-6552.
And the Instagram account is 5 Town Legends with the number 5.
Beautiful. This way we can get you a few more recruits and be watching your graduates on TV when they're playing. And
they could go, and anybody interested, you can go on the Instagram. Every game we record the games, we record the practices, so you can see what's going on there. And it's a lot of fun. It
sounds like the kids are having a lot of fun. It sounds like you're having fun. And maybe this will help our Knicks and Nets in the future so that we can bring a few championships to New York, and we can say it all started
hope so. Definitely.
with the 5 Towns Legends, and maybe they'll even give you those seats up front with Spike Lee and all the celebrities, because without you it wouldn't be possible.
Yes. Oh, thank you. We appreciate your time and everything. We hope we can get you two down there one day.
Okay, we got an invitation. Chief, free seats at a basketball. This is great. We want to thank our guest, Krystal Mackey, the organizer of the 5 Towns Legends, and Michael Gajadhar, one of the coaches. Folks, thanks so much for being with us today.
Can I say one more thing?
Absolutely.
I just want to say, it's not just for boys. We have girls coming into in the league also.
Thank you. No, that's a great. I meant to ask that question, and we got so interested in the other questions. So thanks for pointing that out. I'd like our audience to know I'm Bill Horan. I'm here with Mike DeMarco. We thank you for listening to this week's special edition of My Hometown.
We like to get your feedback on My Hometown. Send your comments to WHPC@ncc.edu. Nassau Community College, where success starts and continues. Till next time, this is Bill St. James. And remember, there's no town like your hometown.